Hello everyone, this is Brother Benson and I'm joined with Makobura. Makobura Barigani.
Uh, Good evening. I'm okay. I hope you're also doing good over there.
Okay, thank you so much. And we are still waiting on Miguda, and I hope he will join us in the middle of the show and to also get his view on what we are going to talk about. And did you had yesterday? Did you get time to watch the Shemeji Derby?
Yeah, I did. I did follow. Uh, I did follow the game,
Okay.
and yeah.
Na labda mtu akikuuliza wewe kama mtu ambaye labda mbona tunaita shemeji dabi?
I think it's because of the consistent, friendly match that has always been between the two, whereby the two communities, that is the Loya and the Nyanza region, the lowland, they've dominated the field of football, and most of footballers are coming from those sides, and this is something that started long time ago. They have maintained, if you can remember those days, there were some teams coming from the coastal region.
Yeah.
Some were coming from other sides, but those other ones faded.
Yeah.
The only ones which went through are the ones from the lowland, and also the one from Loyaland.
So do you think that is the main reason why it is called shemeji dabi?
The lawyers and Luos have always called each other Mashemeji.
Why?
I was actually born and found that kind of uh, name calling going on. So I haven't really done so much to get to understand why. But I always hear the Luos and lawyers calling each other Mashemeji.
Leo ndakueleza, labda we bado leo sasa nasema labda we bado mchanga. Let me take this opportunity to thank Douglas Kibogong, Ben, my shift change. Us also the time ilibadilisha kwetu, lakini tunajaribu. Ndwari, hamjambo bro na wenzangu, asante sana. Hatujambo kwa Kiswahili. Miguda, unanipata? Miguda? Haya, labda kuna tashwishi kidogo kutoka kwa upande wa Miguda. So wacha nikueleze tu kwa Kiswahili. Maana ya shemeji dabi ni kuwa kwa historia jamii ya Luo na jamii ya Luya ni watu wanatoka sehemu moja, magharibi ya Kenya kama sijakosea. Hiyo ni jambo la kwanza. Pili ni kuwa hao watu huwa they marry from each community. Shemeji is a Swahili word. When you translate it to English, it is in-law. So the in-laws is that there's that intermarriage between the two communities. So that's why it's called the shemeji dabi. So sometimes you can find there's a Luo have married from the Luya, and the Luyas have married from Luo. So is that shemeji? But it started long. We were born, and even our parents were born, and it has always been, and it has always defined the when it comes to soccer, especially in Kenya. Those are the two teams are the most watched, especially when they are playing. Back in the days when they used to play, people ended up even fighting. Yeah, because each one of them would want to showcase how tough they are. And another thing that also, when the shemeji dabi are playing, they've always shown us the rich culture that they have. The Luya will come with the sekuti. The Luo will come with the Luo regalia. There are people who will put on the Luo regalia, to showcase how rich their cultures are and how too they are so much inclined in their football, and showcasing the talent. Apart from that, it also shows you how they cherish one another, you know. So it is not only about the talent, but even yesterday, if you could see the Ishikuti dance. Everyone was showing the best of their talent and how rich their talent are. Those who are coming with carrying the samaki, the rech, kwa Kidholuo tunaita hivyo rech, and then two about the Luyas would come carrying out the chicken, that the ingoho that is usually associated with them. So it brings about that cultureness and entertainment. So it is usually one of the best showcase that we have as a country, especially when the Westerners magharibi ya Kenya wanacheza. This is a question for Makubura. My question was to Kevo. Is there a bulk Gen Z or UDA have Gen Z, ODM have Gen Z will vote where? Makubura, do you have question for that?
An answer to that?
Yes. Oh, sorry, an answer to that.
Yeah, so I've been talking about the Gen Zs or the youths, and I'm that person who believe that come 2027, we are going to have a president, a president that many people will not expect, but towards the end, towards that time, people, the young people of the Republic of Kenya, and any serious person who understands and who has suffered in the Republic of Kenya will make that decision of electing a president, not William Samoei Ruto, not Raila Amolo Odinga, not Kalonzo Musyoka, but the options that are coming up.
Okay, all right.
And the Gen Zs are the ones who are going to lead that conversation. They're the ones who are going to do that campaign for that unpopular candidate, and that candidate is going to win, and that candidate would be sworn in as the president of the Republic of Kenya.
Okay,
I understand. Let me just say something again. Douglas is saying that there's a bulk Gen Z, UDA have Gen Zs, ODM have Gen Zs. There are Gen Zs everywhere in those other parties. But one thing I can tell you, Douglas, is that the Gen Zs are going to unite just the same way they united, the people of Kenya united in June 2022 to send their political desires to the relevant authority. That is the same thing that is going to happen towards the final days of 2027. Yes.
Thank you so much. I hope, Douglas, you are so much convinced with the answer that Makubura has given you. Miguda, are you still audible?
I'm audible.
Okay, thank you so much. At the time when we were going live, you were not audible, and we just spoke about the Mashemeji. I was just asking Makubura about how the name Mashemeji Dabi came about, and I tried to explain about intermarriage between the Luyas and the Luos. That's why the Shemeji came, because the Shemeji is an in-law, and in-law, we know that you're marrying, either it can be your sister or your brother marrying from the two communities. And during their game, they usually showcase the rich culture of the two tribes or the two nations, if you will, both of them, and they also show their talents. And this one reminds you, if you're very well versant or well known about the Luo culture, during those days when they used to marry, they would send a young lady to go and fetch water, and the village who wants to marry the girl, they will try to take the girl by force. So the men of that village will also try to fight them. If you're defeated by the men of the village, then this one will showcase that you are still not very ready to take care of that. So you can also bring that analogy to this, because now they're trying to showcase that we've married your daughter, and again we are going to defeat you. You've married her. So it is something that brings a lot of things, not only the soccer entertainment, but there are so many things that we derived from that. So that is what I was trying just to elaborate a little bit for those who might not have an history just about the in-law of the Luo and the Luya nation. Again, they are coming from Western Kenya, both of them. So that is something that I don't know whether you share with me the same thoughts or you have a different one.
Actually, I talked about it yesterday, and you understand that the people of Luo Nation and the Luya Nation, they are related to an extent that you can never separate them, be it politically or football or whatever you want to do, or ethnicity. They are inseparable, because you find that there are some people in the Luo community whose veins, if you look at their veins, the blood is from Luya. And with the Luya people, the veins, the blood is from the Luo nation, because the issue of intermarriage.
Yeah.
Even our mates, most of them are married the people from Western region, and the people presently have married the Luo nation. And I gave an example with our political leaders yesterday, and I said some of the governor of Busia, the mom is from Luo land, and even Ababu Namwamba, he was being called Wonyalego. Raila Odinga is Wonyalego. So you understand the relationship between the Alego and the people of Busia. So you find that the Luo nation they have been married to the Western land, and the Western land women are married to Luo nation. To an extent that we are related so much, we are deeply related in terms of intermarriage. And that's why even if there was tension in Arambe Stars game about the Salasi and what they talked about, but yesterday you saw they came together, and after football they shook hands, and they I think they relate very well.
Yeah, and one thing that I would also say, when they fight, they don't fight that because they're fighting over tribalism. The only thing that can make them fight, because even back in the days, during the time of the greatest soccer players, during those days, they would fight because maybe being defeated by your in-law, but they cannot fight because of tribal issues. Somebody has defeated you, so that frustration, but the following day they will be okay. You've spoken about them intermarrying, and even when you go to places like especially when you've mentioned about Babu Namwamba, especially in Budalangi, those areas, come to those areas of Budalangi, come to Samia, Port Victoria, come to Esibwabo, come to Bukayo, Bundika, those areas of Busia. Actually, those areas in Bumala, they are they share everything, and they know both the languages. So that one makes it quite much different. And come to even Maseno. When you come to Maseno school, even the Maseno, not Maseno school, Maseno school and Maseno campus. When you are in Maseno, especially you come to Maseno, immediately the fence that separates the Maseno University, when you go on the other side, is Luanda, is the Bunyore, the Bunyore, and they share Maseno. So it is a history that is cannot be wished away. They cannot fight because of tribe or what. And in several cases, I've never even seen them fighting because of the boundary. It's very rare that they're fighting over boundary issues. They've never. Yeah, so it tells you when it comes to politics, they cannot disagree so much. They might disagree in terms of voting, but they don't fight. And this is what it's me say. Yesterday, evil people who expected two communities to fight were ashamed. People had fun at Nyayo Stadium, and we didn't hear that stupid story. It cannot happen. What happened yesterday is them showcasing their rich talents and their rich cultures. The people are celebrating their rich cultures, and the dance, the sikuti, all the drums. So that is what was there in the Nyayo. So that is something that we should know. Douglas say, Bro Ben, Jakindu Bay, what do they, Bro Ben, Jakindu Bay, what do this end game? You don't want Raila to be SE? Was no, we no, no, we do not want Raila. No, we wish everybody well. This we cannot stop anybody from having what they want. It's just like sometimes we do comment. When we do comment, we're just commenting because it's a conversation. We give our views, but we wish every Kenyans, if they want everything, anything in the political atmosphere, we want them and we wish them well in every place. So today, gentlemen, and everybody in the comment section, we just want to weigh in about the utterances or the words that politicians make, even us ourselves. How does this one help us to grow our country, or how does this one help us to build ourselves or to make our country grow? And the reason why I'm bringing this issue, or the reason why that I want us to discuss about this issue, recently we've seen, especially like if you remember Makobura, when the Interior Cabinet Secretary talked about those who are commenting, especially on the social media, especially young people. They were talking of them having mental issues, and this mental issues is caused by drug abuse, if I'm not wrong. And I might read it. Let me just find somewhere to quote the correct thing. So when we are having a discussion, so we have a discussion on something that is very, 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 very much valid, so we talk of something that is very, very much valid. And this is the young people who are writing hateful messages, social media, are struggling with mental health, which has been caused by abuse of drugs and alcohol. That is what the CS for Interior was saying. And I don't know how true that is. Yeah. And this one also bring me to what I also want to read for you. If you look at that and what all the leaders post on the social media, and in that I want to just read something about, let me, if I can find it, something about, so that we can have a discussion that is geared towards looking at where should we draw the line, and if we've gone wrong, where can we start correcting ourselves. Especially, let me look somebody here. Peter Opondo Kaluma. That is the leader that I usually look at what he usually tweet. Kaluma. Do I really get it? Let me see if I can get Peter Opondo Kaluma. And I don't know whether we'll get his tweet. Okay, Makobura, weigh your thought as I still look for the tweet that I saw Pondo Kaluma did. And so that when you look at what the CS said and even what has been happening, yes.
It's actually not just the CS.
Yeah.
We've seen such kind of comments coming from members of parliament as well. If you remember the comments of the member of parliament of Dagoretti, Honorable Elachi, her comments on those who are not feeling comfortable or those who are complaining about the hard lives or the bad things in Kenya. He said that if you're not satisfied by the things which are happening, then you should leave. And then after some days, unfortunately, he lost his son. And then the people of Kenya went to social media, instead of consoling her and the family, they started using words which are not really okay. They started speaking as if they were happy about what had happened, of which that is not good. So I think the problem we've been seeing is our leaders do not choose wisely their words. And again, they just speak without having the people in mind, without knowing that the words they're using are not really getting well to the people that elected them or to the entire citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Because if you keenly look at their conversation and how they put their words, it's like they're mocking the people of Kenyans, and especially the lowly people in the society, or the citizens who are not really in a position to have everything easy, things to do with their basic needs, things to do with job, the issues of unemployment. And so these are the things which are making the people of Kenya not to even respect the leaders, because when the leaders stand, the kind of words they use are not words that are consoling the people of Kenya. When you're a leader and you've been given an opportunity to serve or to make change to the society, and then you've not made that change, or if you're truly if you are on a way of making that change and you've not made it yet, you're supposed to talk to the people and give them the reasons why you've not made change. But in this situation, we are seeing leaders who are not who do not care from the way they're speaking. They are leaders who are not talking about what they have not done and what they're planning to do. Instead, they are emotionally reacting to the people who elected them. That is wrong. And if this kind of conversations, or if this kind of behavior by the political leaders continue, it is not going to end well with them. It is right for the people of Kenya to speak. Remember, they gave this gentleman an opportunity to serve them in those capacities that they're serving. And so the people of Kenya has the liberty to criticize. They have the liberty to give their opinion on whatever they're seeing, especially depending on, the beliefs or the campaign comments that were, the campaign strategies that were used by these political leaders. If they have failed, there's nothing wrong Kenyans coming out to criticize. It doesn't matter the word that they are using. If the politicians are truly genuine to the people of Kenya, they've been given an opportunity to serve. They've not managed. The best thing they're supposed to do is come out and talk to the people of Kenya in a polite manner. They're not supposed to talk to the people of Kenya with this kind of words which are not chosen wisely, because words that they're using are instead of uniting the people of Kenya, these words actually making the people of Kenya feel that the leaders do not care about them, the leaders are not solving their problems, the leaders are mocking them, the leaders do not feel what they are going through.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I bring in Miguda, and Miguda, I want you to relate this, what I'm going to read, based on what the CS said on that. And even if it is true that is the way, what should the leadership take? And we want to compare the two based on maybe some literature that has been written or have been published in the X by the young people that now has become a center of conversation, that some of them are not doing what is right. They are running away from the norms of the society based on the observation of the leaders. And this is what the honorable member for Homa Bay Town wrote I think this is a few days ago. And this is in relation to the slogan now that is being used in the political field, especially with the young people, those who feel like the administration of the president is not doing for them, or they are not aligning themselves with the administration of the president. And this is it. Must go, must go, must go. Must go is a political slogan used by Kikuyu tribalists against non-Kikuyu president and leaders. It is never featured against Jomo Kenyatta, the first Kikuyu president and perhaps the worst president Kenya has ever had. The Kikuyu tribalists first coined used I must go against Moi, the first Kalenjin non-Kikuyu to be president. It then disappeared and was never used against both Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta. The consecutive president from Agikuyu who entrenched tribalism in public office and in allocation of national resources, and made critical ministries and sectors of Kenya economy preserve of their Agikuyu tribesmen. The slogan has resurfaced and is rapidly used against President Ruto, the current and only other non-Kikuyu president of Kenya. Must go is used to bully the non-Kikuyu president to merely reign as a Kikuyu rule Kenya and discriminate against fellow Kenyans in public services, public resources. It has not helped the president, Ruto, has appointed a non-Kikuyu to be a deputy president after Gachagua, advocating Gachagua. A Kikuyu was impeached for advocating ethnic and regional discrimination. Gachagua, Kenya tribalist, is a chief now. The Agikuyu queen spring tribal vitriol everywhere he goes with vicious support of Agikuyu people. Kenya have seen through this nonsense pervaded by the Agikuyu and broadcast by Kikuyu-owned media. As long as he acts to secure non-discriminatory equality, equity, inclusivity, Kenyans will firmly stand behind President Ruto against ethnic bullying, mistaken majoritarianism by Agikuyu. Kenya belongs to all Kenyans equally. We will vote against anything that would entrench the thinking by a single community that is superior to other communities of Kenya. That is a leader. That is a leader from the tweets. I quote him. That is what he wrote in his tweet. And the way he wrote it, or the way he writes it, and it will give you the overview, or it will give you what he's thinking about. You don't. And at the same time as he writes that, we are talking about the broad-based government coming together for us to have what we call inclusivity. And when you say wrote something like this, and we're talking about tribalism, and the leaders themselves who have given the mandate, especially like the right, like the CS for Interior, does not talk about this, but majorly on the young people who maybe are writing those hateful messages, but the leaders themselves, they don't correct them when they write cases like this at a time where we are talking about inclusivity. Yeah. So that is the conversation that we have to have. What is the yardstick that we are using on the young people who we believe, or the leaders believe, that what they're writing because maybe the frustration, mental health, because of drug abuse. But what is the yardstick that you're using to know that every young person who is writing that is on abuse? And what are they saying as a leader? Have you taken time to listen to them? Even if it is because of that, what role has you played as a leader, knowing very well, man, this is a mental health? How do you come in? How do you come in to make sure that if it is a problem, how do we solve that problem of mental health? So, Miguda, what is your take on that?
First, will allow me to state one thing before I delve into the question. The issue of Mashemeji.
Yeah.
Just the reason why even people might want the Luo community earlier to fight, they can never fight. There are many things happening in the region. There's one thing which we try to omit, the issue of migration. Remember, there are some Luos who have migrated and are permanent resident into the Luo land. Like if you go to Migori County, you find there are lawyers in that land, to an extent that even when there was an opportunity to elect committees in the Migori County Assembly, lawyers are minority, and they have been given seats like the leader of the chair for budget committee. Actually, the current chair of budget committee in Migori County Assembly is a lawyer. And also the issue of minority, you find the Kuria are also there. This is why I brought the issue of migration. They move in search of land, and also the Kisii people, also they are deeply in Seventh-day Adventist Church in religion, to an extent that if you are in Migori town, you'll find that there are just churches which are predominantly Kisiis. And also in terms of doctors, pastors, teachers, you find that there are other people from other regions, that is the Loyal Nation and the Kisiis, who are teaching and also who are treating people into the Luo Nation hospitals and vice versa. And when you see sometimes they are fighting maybe between, and also the Maasai, because there's a certain market called Ogwedi in Migori. So you find the Maasais from Kilgoris and the Luo, they are going there to do their business, particularly the cattle ones. And if you see any war, sometimes it's more of a friendly match that is can be with cattle rustling, such things. And also in terms of food, the people in Nyanza, Migori County, they depend on the courier to give them food because of the fertile land and also the labor in that region. And also to the Somali people find their ways into lowland to an extent that we have a Somali who has been elected as a member of parliament from Suna East constituency, Junet Mohammed. To that extent, I can state that there is no much anticipation that one day these communities can come to an extent to fight over politics. They can leave it to that extent. They can disagree because at the end of the day, they live together as one community. That one must be taken into consideration. You have asked me about the issue of the CS statement. How does it relate with the Opontos Kaluma statement? In my view, I would like to look at it that a leader should provide solution to the subjects. And if a leader does not provide solution to the subject, it means that leader is incompetent, and if that leader he has been disqualified and he has not achieved the leadership integrity. When you talked about profiling a certain community, the Kikuyu nation, if Opondo Kaluma is having a problem with Gachagua, he should face Gachagua and ask Gachagua to tone down and also correct Gachagua. Let him not go deep into the community. Let him not victimize the whole community because of one person's action. If the utterances of Gachagua were like he was tribalist leader, doesn't mean that all the Kikuyus must be subjected to one person's opinion. That one must be taken. Let him ignore the Kikuyu nation. Let him not go to the community, because even when sometimes they used to say that Raila is a con man. It doesn't mean that all laws are con men or con women. They used to say Ruto ni mwizi. Doesn't mean that all Kalenjins are wezi. They used to say Kalonzo ni watermelon. Not all the campus are watermelon. This issue of victimizing the whole community because of a political figure, in my view, it will create more tension to the country than any other thing. That's why this member of parliament must be called out, and the CS should also ensure that he correct the member of parliament. And the reason why they have concentrated in defending the leaders like Opondo Kaluma and the CDF and the NISBOS is because these people, they are against the Gen Z quest to transform the country. And Gen Z has been labeled as the enemies to the status quo. Therefore, anybody who is objecting their uprising is a friend to the status quo. And that is why the CS in that government has an obligation to defend the status quo and has an obligation to defend anybody who is oppressing the young people. But anybody who is siding with the young people, or any young people who is trying to oppress the status quo, they are going to deal with that person ruthlessly without mercy. That one must be distinct. But most importantly, I want to say that the issue of allowing leaders to victimize the entire community, like when Salasia was beaten at National Stadium, it means that they had some issues politically. But you cannot say that now you want to victimize that all Luos fought or were paid to beat Salasia. That is wrong. The people beat Salasia were goons, and they were known. There were cameras all over. They should not victimize the entire community. That's what I want to let us distinct. The reason why there should not be an issue of an individual problem being subjected to the entire community to punish everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. And you will answer, both of you will answer what Kibogong was asking about the KDF when you come in. And I want to also to know your view. Like when we look at the issue of slogan, especially to the people who are in leadership, if you're well conversant with the history of this country, there are those days when they used to sing Yote Yawe is the Kanabila Moi. You know, I don't know whether you remember those. Yeah, those days. Then there's also time when there was an Aman Buogebo. that those slogans also went. Then there was this one, Bado Mapambano, by the late Honorable Gerald Otieno Kajwang. And they took um, the political field, and they were kind of like resonating well with the people on the ground. And even when you come to the issue of the Ruto must go, I can remember the very moment after election, we just need to be very factual, because these are some things that they're on the media if you go. Actually, the Right Honorable Prime Minister said that for the cost of living to go down, Ruto must go. So when you compare that scenario and today, what is the difference? What are you using? What is the rationale that you're using that those who are saying today are tribalist, who do not want, based on what Opondo Kaluma his argument, because I know he's somebody who has gone to school, he's a lawyer by profession, What about those who are not coming from this community, like the young people in school? You saw them talking about it. How are you going to classify them?
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think what we've been seeing is a rogue political class. Just, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? The Prime Cabinet Secretary also said something that it is not going to be easy for the Gen Zs and the opposition to get Ruto out of power. That according to him, as far as he's concerned and what he knows, with the unity of Ruto and Raila, no one, according to his statement, can dream of removing Ruto to power.
Yeah.
Maybe you also heard the comments of the CDF that they're all. Maybe before I get into that, allow me to.
But I think Makobura, I've gone to analyze the CDF statement. I think at some point, I'm not defending him, but at some point, sometimes we politicize, even though it's not the role, because like some of the things that we also have to look, like this is the first time that we are getting the intelligence committee, especially the intelligence agencies and the security agencies, to have public participation whereby everybody, because like no any other country whereby you found like the intelligence committee would come out to have interaction with the people. It is quite much rare, it's the first time that is happening in the country. And if you go back to how the CDF was talking, I don't think like the CDF meant or was lecturing the people, but the CDF was maybe giving clarification or advice on what are the processes that as the CDF or we as the security agency, at what point will we come in?
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
and,
actually
no one is criticizing that, but remember,
yeah,
we are in a political environment. We are in a country where we've seen anything is possible. We've seen things happen when we don't expect them.
Yeah.
Again, the timing of certain conversation or using certain words also mean a lot. So by the time the comments of the CDF were coming, they were coming on the emotions of the people of Kenya based on what has been happening. The people had to interpret it depending on the situation and the current things which are happening in the Republic of Kenya. So I don't think it is the problem of the people who are trying to view it in that manner. It is just that the people of Kenya are concerned group, concerned citizens, analyzing politics and views or comments of leaders based on the things which are happening in the country. What I can say is that we need to, as leaders, first, let me just give my comment again on what the member of parliament from Homa Bay Town said. It is so unfair and it is so divisive for a member of parliament to base his
Okay. I think there's something with Marco Bura's internet. Miguda. Hello, Miguda. Okay, thank you so much. Let me see. I think there's a problem with. Yes. So when we look at if we like and ask third function of the CDF, yeah, you know, they play various function, especially in the country. One of the things that they have to keep the security of the country. That is one. They do so many things. Apart from that, just to remember, they do build schools. That is one. They also apart from the other security matters, there are so many things that they do in the country, especially when it comes to maintenance in the country. And something that also we have to discuss about, and as I wait for Makobura and Miguda, you know, when the CS says that this thing is of mental issues, what is the right way that they should handle it? If it is true, he's well convinced based on the data or the information that he has that, okay, all this that are commenting on the social media, all the young people who are commenting on the social media is because of mental issues. And you have an information, what is the next thing that you should do? And also you have to ask yourself, like, as they comment, what are the things that they are asking? Because among other things, I know during the protest, people were asking over the opulence that were being exhibited or were being shown or seen from the leadership. That is what the young people were complaining all about. The young people were complaining about over taxes that were burdening them. The young people were complaining about the size of the cabinet. They were feeling that the president can reduce the size of the cabinet, you know. They're complaining of some of the things that are very genuine. Even the president himself agreed with the young people and ended up dismissing his cabinet at the request of the Gen Z. Yeah. So what was happening, or what is happening, that it has now, they've now realized that now it is about that it is frustration of mental health. And the mental health is something that we've always talked about, even in this channel. But if it is mental health, how can we cure mental health? And one of the things that also the CS has to know, that there are quite majority of Kenyans who have completed schools, but they do not have employment. Yeah. Yeah. They do not have employment, you know. So this one can also be frustrating. And how are you answering this? So if young people do not have employment, how are you answering these questions? Yeah, these questions need to be answered. So I think it is that time that we should reach a point whereby, like, now we have to choose the words that we're using wisely. Leaders, together with the people that we rule or the people that we lead. Because if we continue like that, whereby we do not choose very word wisely, what will happen is that the disconnect that is going to be in the country is going to be so huge. Because, like, you find that right now people are very hungry. You know, people are very hungry. There are people who feel like the government is not doing the right thing that they should do. That's why sometimes they are channeling their frustration on the social media. You know, at the same time, if it is true, because, like, maybe I cannot when CS say that he's in the position to know all this information, maybe he has a data to show us. Yeah, but what are you doing in return? Yeah, what about the leaders who are commenting words that are not good, especially at the time now we are talking about peace and bringing a reconciliation? We can reconcile the reconciliation of Kenyans. So, like, let's bring Kenyans together. Yet, at the process when the bigger political class are talking about reconciliation and bringing peace, but there's a leader also who usually writes things that not only him, but quite a number. You know, if you're very keen, especially on the weekend when there was burial of the son of Honorable Elach, there's so many things that we learn from there. Based on, and like he said very well, I quote, politician, you are on your own. You are on your own. Sometimes out of work, call your colleagues, sit together. And what about those the Kenyans, because they are leaders. But if it has reached a point whereby that now the political class, they feel that, okay, now we are on our own. These other people, the voters also feel the same, that we are on our own. How are we going to fill that gap? That is now the question. And if you listen to Millie Odhiambo, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, the bad girl, also say that the problem, we need to have a conversation. We should start soul searching. Yeah, let's do the soul searching, and we know where we are wrong. And where did the rain start beating us, especially leadership and the voters? Where is that disconnect coming from? So it's about us choosing wisely on what we say, and especially as leaders, because the leaders are the people who believe they are chosen by the people. You lead people, then you should lead people rightfully, in a very good way. How can you listen to the voices of the people? Listen to what they are saying. If it is true now about the mental health that due to drugs, how can we find a way on how to take young men out of drugs? What can we do as a government? If it is true what the CS for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, was saying, if it is true, and if has information, how are you going to work on it with the powers and the office that you have? And what is making them to start abusing the drugs? So that is something that you can also remember. I remember Gen Z banning schools. Yeah, what was the reason for banning school? Yeah, somebody cannot just wake up and start to ban schools. Hey, Marco Bura, what happened? You just disappeared all of a sudden. Hello, Marco Bura.
Just going through these comments. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm saying I was just going through the comments here, and I'm seeing a good friend is saying, I remember Gen Z banning schools. I did not see anywhere where Gen Zs were banning schools. Am I clear?
Yeah, you're clear. Can Miguda come back to the
Yeah, so I think he's trying to talk to is coming. Okay. I was giving my opinion on the comments of the member of parliament from Oma Bay. And what I wanted to say is that it is so unfair for a political leader or a member of parliament to, if, he has a problem with a certain politician, he needs to address that individual directly. It is so unfair and it is so primitive to face a politician coming from the other side by basing your conversation on the community where it comes from. Such kind of behaviors or such kind of narrative or even mentality, the ones that we are fighting as a people or as young people, because we are trying to get to a point where we criticize politicians who are trying to come with a narrative of dividing the community. These are things that we need to come up and talk about and criticize, because the moment we give this opportunity to the political leaders or members of parliament, be it MCAs, to just attack communities or speak to communities, then it is widening the gap that we are trying to sort as a people, the issues of tribe and tribalism. So let us come up as a people and fight and speak up against leaders who are trying to divisively talk. Because if we allow them to continue with their narrative, what we will get to a point where tribe would be the conversation of the day. And whenever tribe becomes the conversation of the day, we will, as a people, we will get to a point where we'll start suffering, because the leaders will not focus on issues affecting the people, but they will only focus on, retaliating and talking to each other based on their on the tribal objective. So those are things that we need to come up as a people and say no to. And
Okay.
also, there was a question from Douglas about the KDF. Maybe I needed to just answer his question. According to the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, the primary role or function of the KDF is to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Kenya. They also support and aid civilian authorities in emergencies and disasters. Uh, KDF is responsible for engaging in activities that promote peace and security regionally and internationally, and may participate in peacekeeping missions as authorized by United Nations or any other international body. The Constitution also provide a framework for the president as the commander-in-chief to direct and control KDF, ensuring civilian oversight
Okay.
over the military.
All right. There's something here that Douglas is bringing on, and maybe I could also weigh in. The third function of KDF is to restore peace with approval of National Assembly, and with that approval should be done accordance to the law. You cannot just, if you want to bring that, look at how it was done during the Duale's time. It did not follow the due process that how it should done on how members of parliament worked about it. If you want to bring that to, so just remember that when you are doing, if you do it correctly with the sole purpose, if you know what you're doing, it is you're doing it accordance to the law, then that's okay. But if you're not doing it accordance to the law, then you have to question how are you doing it, you know. And
Maybe just to add something on that.
And if you're doing that, and remember, you are doing that when it is approved by the parliament, they can also decide to take the country and suspend the democratic space by introducing the martial law if they feel that the leadership is not doing the right thing for the people. That's something that also you have to bear in mind. So it is
I
not
think Douglas should also know that the training that the KDF undergoes, they are not trained on how to handle the civilians. Or the citizens.
Yeah,
they are trained to handle people who are trying to, come into the territory of the Republic of Kenya, and they do it massively. So the training that they go through do not, as per of course the guidelines that we have, do not allow them to interact or to get into the environment of creating peace within the country. So what happened during the Gen Zs, of course, it was unlawful, and even it went through the courts, and the courts said the same. So what we need to do, of course, the parliament has that duty to vet them and to give them even places there where they're supposed to go, and even how they're supposed to behave. And we did not see that. The same question was raised and taken to the courts, and the courts was very clear that it was rushed. The main important things that were supposed to be looked into and how they were supposed to operate was not looked into. So we have a constitution, and the gentleman, the president, the deputy, and all those people in government or in leadership, they swore to protect that constitution. The constitution is very clear, and it outlines everything and how things should be done. I think the best thing we need to do as a people, or those leaders, they need to follow the law. It would be so unfair that they won't follow the law when they feel like they should, and they're forcing the people of Kenya to follow the law, and yet they are not doing so. And remember that the people who stood up and even swore, carrying the Bible and before the people of Kenya, that they would do as per what the constitution says. Megoda, maybe you can add something on that.
Before I add something on that, first I've had someone commented that I haven't got an opportunity to go to the comment section, but someone commented that Gen Zs were burning school. Hey, I never saw any Gen Z burning school. Gen Zs never burn any school. And that is just a propaganda. And that's how sometimes parties work. Someone is making that propaganda like Gen Z were banning school. So like Gen Z were destroying public utilities. Therefore, they should be banned. The movement of Gen Z should be banned. They're just looking for ways to ban the movement of the Gen Z, but Gen Z never had anything to ban schools. The issue of the KDF, what I understand that when they were deployed internally, people objected to it because KDF, they are combatant, and we civilians, we are non-combatant, and they have a duty to protect us from the combatant. That is why in the rule of war, they are allowed to kill, and also they are permitted to kill, and also they have that right to be killed, and they have that right to protect us from the external attack. That is why when you are deploying them to the civilian, it's like you want to tell them the way I say this, like that they can escort people to state house because they have no mandate to deal with the people. They are only having mandate to deal with the same people who are armed like them. That's why we have the issue of National Police Service Commission to deal with the people internally. And I believe that the issue of CDF, when CDF said that Ruto must go, must be done constitutionally, we also respond to him that the people will do it constitutionally. But it doesn't mean that when people say Ruto must go, now that there are those who are going to vote for him. They should not be afraid. They should just accept that there's an uprising from the young people that Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Even the other time, people chant Uhuru must go. Maybe Uhuru must go was never chanted in your area, but I understand that where Raila was, in Raila's rally, people say Uhuru must go. Uhuru must go. So there's nothing wrong with saying Ruto must go. Let them just accept that. They let them go to the people and give service delivery and also campaign so that they can be re-elected. But bringing in the CDF to lecture people, all the needs to lecture people, all the CDF warning people, those things are not going to be applicable. They can be applicable in those times of mourning. But currently, you can't bring someone from barracks to come and lecture civilians on how to conduct themselves. Where has he been? We have been having politics before. There have been campaigns. There have been elections in the country. Where have they been? We haven't heard of people from KDF coming to tell people how you should critique the government. So I think that it is only the KDF who has the marking scheme on how to critique or on how to critique. Let them stick to their role in the constitution. Even NIS should stick their role in the constitution. They should be invisible. We don't want to see NIS around, because the more we are used to them, the more they can lose some fundamental information concerning security matters. Because if all of us know these are the insurgents, they can not get those, they can never gather those information from the people. Let them be invisible and gather the information that pertains the security of the country. And also the KDF should stick to their role and allow politicians to square it out as politicians with the people, because we have a constitution, which is the fundamental rule in the country, that give us guidelines on how to do our politics. And let the people, we have everything. Even if we disagree in terms of election, you can go to court to seek for a further avenue on how your election can be nullified or can be upheld. The issue of bringing KDF, I don't understand it, into the internal affairs in the country, which we are saying that we are a constitutional democracy state. We understand it. Let us have our lens. Let politicians play their politics. And the same politicians have been complaining about using criminal justice system. They have been saying about criminal justice system should not be used to square our differences politically. For example, if I want to contest for the president, now they will send for me the whole polling station to my rally. They will tear gas me. They will give me fake cases in court. They will arrest me, abduct me, detain me, torture me, because I'm just a mere opponent. Let us not frustrate our opponents with the criminal justice system, because now they have realized that the criminal justice system is not working. Now they're bringing for us principal or headmasters or red boys or captains to come and warn the people that if it is Ruto must go, then it should be constitutionally. And who was doing it unconstitutionally? That's the question you should be asking. If we are in a football match and we chant Ruto must go, or we chant Sakaja must go, or we chant judiciary must go, that's not offense. If it's an offense, let them initiate a lawsuit to the people of Kenya, but not bringing CDF to come and lecture people. I've also seen a certain question from Bar Seba Ndwari concerning the issue of salary for the parliamentarian. First, I want to correct our viewer that I'm not Miguna, I'm Miguda. I don't want to shit myself that name Miguna. We are different people. I'm Miguda. Therefore, the members of parliament, of course, some have come out to deny that there's nothing like that going on in the country. So we see there's no certainty that we can prove right now that they're going until they increase the salary is when we can discuss about it, because there are some members from Senate and from National Assembly who have denied that there is no such motion coming or there's no such conversation in the country. And some of them are our friends. We trust them. When they say something, we usually listen to them. They have denied that there's nothing like that going on about increasing salary for the members of parliament. But if it is there, we the people, we cannot support it, because if they cannot deliver, even if they can use the CDF kit very well, why do you want to add them salaries? I think they have enough. We should discuss on how to reduce their salary, actually, not how to increase. Not the issue of increase, the issue of decreasing, how to lower their salary.
Okay, thank you. Maybe something else that there's a question here from Douglas Kibogong. Douglas, kindly reframe your question. I'm unable to get it, because I'm seeing here you're saying, can you differentiate Nyayo Gen Z in Harambee versus Gabon? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know whether you meant that the Gen Zs are the one who had attended the Harambee Stars versus Gabon football match. And I don't know how Gen Zs are getting into that. Maybe you can clarify what the question, you can make the question clear so that we can give our opinion on that. Douglas. Yeah, so Miguda, something else that I'd want us to just talk about is the planned tour by the president to the Mount Kenya region. Wamunyoro, the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, this evening said that the president, if he's going to the Mount Kenya region, he should not go and lie to the people of Mountain. And according to him, there's nothing that the president is going to learn, because there's nothing that this administration has done in the Mount Kenya region. According to him, he's saying that all the projects that the president wants to go and launch are those that were started by the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and they're incomplete. We also saw the president has actually, he had gone to the Mount Kenya this evening, and he had a planned interview with the medias from the Mount Kenya region. What is your take on the view of the people supporting the president from the Mount Kenya region and the views of those not supporting, and the comments which are coming from different leaders? How is that going to affect the tour of the president to the Mount Kenya region, Mr. Miguda?
According to me, now, at my own personal level, the president, just like another person, has also the freedom of movement. And the freedom of movement is unconditionally to each and every person living in this country. You should not give people conditions that for you to come to this region, you must do this, man. You are free to move unconditionally, but we have issues of accountability, which we have to raise to our leaders. That is okay. And you understand that we are in a political contest. This is a political contest. So you must use anything humanly possible to ensure that you embarrass your opponent. And your opponent also must use anything humanly possible to ensure that you also embarrass you. Things like inciting the crowds, you can incite the crowds. You can also go and maybe you get the crowd is hostile. At the same time, you are at liberty to mobilize. You can mobilize your crowd through bribing them. What they say that there was so much money spent in Mount Kenya. The president tour, in my view, if the head of state can move in the country the way he likes, is not limited. That you can only move in Nairobi alone and cannot move. Mount Kenya is part of Kenya, and you should not tell Mr. President not to move to Mount Kenya. Let him move even to the farthest end of the mountain, and also can understand how the things are going. But when it comes to the issue of the people, the crowd, the opponent can incite crowds. That's politics. They can charge the crowd to be hostile, and at the same time, the guest can as well mobilize crowds so that it will appear in the public perception that Mount Kenya is not gone, the way you are seeing that Mount Kenya is gone. But also the other opponents want to prove to the world that Mount Kenya is gone. So I think it's a political contest, and expect anything. You can expect heckling, you can expect massive crowd which has been mobilized, you can expect some tear gas, you can expect some people with throw stones, objection from the people. Those things are very possible in a political contest, because even when the time Raila shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto was moving to those sides of Nyanza province, they were telling Ruto that go and take those instruments of opposition. We have allowed you to move in the Nyanza so that you can be in opposition. Answer kuzoea opposition. And so it's very normal movement. What we must underline is that the movement to each and every person in the country is unconditional. I can move to each and every part of this country unconditionally. The same way I enjoy that freedom, the same way Mr. President also must enjoy that freedom. But when it comes to politics, they now how they will square it out as politicians. That one is not our business.
Okay, thank you. Douglas is saying Gen Z. I meant why the latest match with Leopard didn't have Ruto must go. I don't know how that relates to the Gen Zs. I don't know if you're trying to mean that the Gen Zs are the one who are saying Ruto must go in that football match. I don't think so, because Brother Douglas, does it mean that the Gen Zs are the ones who they're the only people saying Ruto must go in the Republic of Kenya? Does it mean that they're the only people who are not happy with the government? I don't think so. And I think that was clarified. If you can remember, those who went for demonstration, they were not just the Gen Zs. There were people, both wazees na wamama na watu wakubwa. That is what I can say on that. Miguda, what is your take on the comments of the former deputy president, Kalonzo Musyoka, and his team? They are reminding the government that they should bring back the police officers from Haiti. And they had the opportunity to interact with the people of Bomet. The ground is not, if you watch that clip, the people really welcomed them and listened to them. Remember, that is one of the places, the support base of the president. What does that tell to the political landscape?
That's what I've just said, that freedom of movement. The same way Kalonzo Musyoka was welcome in Bomet, the backyard of William Ruto. That's the very way we want the people of Mount Kenya to welcome Mr. President, and also the people from Bani to welcome Mr. President, and also to welcome Baba. This issue of heckling leaders or mobilizing or inciting the people against the leaders because even you, one day you will need the audience of the people or the audience of your the audience of your opponent. And when you need the audience of your opponent, also you should allow that tolerance, which you have been preaching this channel, that there should be tolerance. You tolerate the other opponent, also he tolerates you or she tolerates you. And I'm very happy the way he was welcomed. And also let us avoid this issue of violence, issue of heckling leaders or booing leaders. Let them have whatever they want to tell the people, then it's up to you. Kwadebe, you decide by yourself who to vote for. No one is going to compel you. Then the issue of Kalonzo and the team, let them also settle on one candidate and give Kenyan people that is our candidate. So that we, because already we have a candidate of the status quo, Mr. President, is going to defend the seat. Who is going to compete against him? We need to know. It's high time we start campaigns. We start making good use to these leaders. So that's a challenge. Then let them settle on one person, then they support that one person.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if maybe there's something else that we've not talked about. Huh? Yes?
I think we're done.
Okay, thank you. To our viewers, I want to take this opportunity to just appreciate the fact that you took time to join the conversation this evening. We are very much proud of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for just finding time to join us this evening. We don't take it for granted. We really appreciate, and thanks for your consistent support. If you're new to this channel, this is by the Benson Media. And here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye bye.